Welcome to the Kick Sugar Coach podcast. Join me each week as I interview experts who will share the science of sugar, sugar addiction, and different approaches to recovery. We hope to empower you with the information and inspiration, insights, and strategies you need to break up with sugar and fall in love with healthy whole foods so you can prevent and reverse chronic disease, lose weight, boost your mood and energy. Feel free to go to my website for details on my coaching programs and to access free resources, kicksugarcoach.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to an interview today with Connie Bennett. She is a former sugar and carb addict, although I suppose you'd probably say she's still on the spectrum. I don't know if we ever say it's fully ever at one and done, but she is also a best-selling author of 3 books, Sugar Shock, Beyond Sugar Shock, and I Blew My Diet Now What? Now that's her latest book. So I have one of her books. I have all 3 of her books. Honestly, she's a former journalist. It really shows. These are incredibly well researched, incredibly well written. They're fun. There's alliteration. There's brilliance in them. There's heart in them. I'm a bookaholic for sure. I love to read, but I'm also hard to please. And I can tell you these are really powerful, very, very, very well written books. Connie, after writing 2 books, Sugar Shock and Beyond Sugar Shock, had her mother die, and she relapsed back into sugar and flour and junk food after her season of grief.
Just carbs.
Just carbs. Carbs. And she became passionate about uncovering, like, oh man, how did I wind up back in the carb ditch? And she became really passionate about understanding what drives us back to the ultra-processed foods and how do we bounce back? How do we come back to our whole foods? So she decided to write her 3rd book called I Blew My Diet Now What? Her work has been featured on CBS News Sunday Morning, Oprah, Friends Radio, Time, Forbes Health, and more. She's a certified health and life coach, a speaker, and tapping practitioner. Welcome, Connie.
Thank you so much for having me, Florence.
Yeah, when I read your book, I Blew My Diet Now What? I mean, it is, how long did it take you to write that? Long time?
More than 7 years.
Yeah, that it shows.
What basically happened though is that my mom had passed away. I had been going more than a decade eating cleanly. Like no sugar, no processed carbs, maybe a couple of bites here and there, but like for years. I mean, I had it together, I thought. And I had a very grueling year with my mother, the final year of her life. I had moved from New York to be with her across country. And it was weird, like all these great tools that I'd been telling people to do, I simply forgot to do them, including meditating, which is what I'd been doing every day for years. And I just rushed to carbs. So I corrected you when you were reading my bio because I was really a fraud. I did not have any sugar after my mother died.
Okay.
But I was stuffing my face with carbohydrates, ultra processed carbohydrates, which I now call carbage, carb garbage. And not one bite of sugar. And yet I still gained 21 pounds within months. Not a stitch of sugar. It was amazing. And I was like, I forgot what I had been telling people for years, which is that carbohydrates, ultra processed carbohydrates, turn to sugar very quickly in your body. So all those ailments that I'd had years and years before, mood swings, headaches, difficulty concentrating, crying outbursts, just fatigue, anxiety. I had 44 ailments. I to get ready for this interview, I was like reviewing my list of ailments. I actually had a very interesting talk with the editor of my first book, Sugar Shock. I was like, should we list all 44 ailments? Like, are people going to believe her? And so I had 44 ailments when I was deep into the sugar. And yet about 38 of them or so came back when I was just eating ultra processed carbohydrates after my mother died. And I conveniently forgot what I know so well. Processed carbs turn to sugar in your body. So carbs equal sugar. Duh. But in my grief, I had PTSD as well. It just sort of slipped my mind. And I went down the rabbit hole again.
Can I
You
pause you there
ready?
for a second, Connie?
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify so I think of sugar as an ultra processed food. It's an ultra processed sugar, but you're referring more to flour. I'm guessing like bread and like what carbage did you get into? Just so people are clear. You're saying not sugar, but what did you get into then?
I ate processed popcorn like it was going out of style. In
Okay.
fact, I begin my book, I Blew My Diet Now Wet, with me in the movie theater with a monster bucket of popcorn in front of me, and I'm stuffing my face with it. Uh, Crackers, chips. There was like a special kind of crackers, but they were processed. I did throw in also some cheese and peanuts in there, but mainly most of my 21-pound weight gain was from popcorn and crackers. Oh, and also this is an interesting one. Sweet potato chips. Now they're not really heavily processed. They're kind of healthy. You can still eat them. I just once in a blue moon I may have some, but I'm like, I'm not gonna have the whole bag now. I have to meet it out. Okay, I can have one portion of like, I don't know, 8 chips. That's it.
Okay.
Uh, but those processed carbs just boom, packed on the pounds, and not just packed on the pounds. I ultimately developed insulin resistance. I nearly fainted in a grocery store. I had all kinds of other high cortisol, and just from months of picking out on processed carbs.
Okay, so I just want to clarify that some people, when they get into the refined carbohydrates, they tend to be more sugars, starch, fat combos. Others are the starch fat combos. So I can hear what you're saying is that you gravitated to the chips, the popcorn, the starch, fat, salt combos is where you went into the ditch. Got it.
Yeah,
Super clear.
but ironically, years before, over a decade before, it was candies,
Oh, shoot.
cookies, those hard candies, like 50 of them a day.
Wow.
It was a similar reaction of both.
Okay.
And weight gain, I want to emphasize this really a lot to your listeners. Weight gain was not the biggest concern at all. It was the least of my worries. It was that all these ailments, and they turned out to be ailments of low blood sugar, as well as just eating all this sugar, well, it was sugar, carbs equal sugar. From eating all those things, all of a sudden, all these ailments just popped up out of the blue, and I hadn't had them for years.
Wow. Incredible. Keep going. Amazing. Yeah, it's hard to believe that potato chips and popcorn can literally do that much damage. It's hard to believe.
Well, so basically, after that, I am a journalist, and I had written Sugar Shock and Beyond Sugar Shock. Um, Beyond Sugar Shock, people don't know about as much because it came out right as my mom was dying, and I didn't promote it much. I I had a pretty tough time, and but what happened is I became fascinated, just as I had become fascinated years before, more than a decade earlier, about sugar, because my story about sugar had begun. I had 44 ailments, difficulty concentrating, mood swings, headaches, heart palpitations, and I had seen a bunch of doctors over the years. None of them had been able to diagnose what was the matter with me. Finally, one smart doctor said, "Well, just quit sugar and processed carbs, and all your ailments will go away." I do not kid, all 44 ailments went away. So there I was, more than a decade later, not following my own advice. And so I became fascinated. If I, of all people, who am supposed to set an example, for goodness sake, had blown my diet, why are other people also eating so badly around the world? And that led me on this like 7+ year journey to discover why I call it, why do people blow their diets? But it's really, why do people eat so badly? And I basically identified 21 main reasons that people would overconsume these unhealthy foods. I mean, we know better. We know they're not good for us. Why do we keep doing it? And in my instance, one of the main reasons was I was doing what I now call heartbreak binging. I came up with all these catchy phrases to identify. And I was reeling in grief after the loss of my mother. Plus, I was also dealing with PTSD. There are 20 other reasons. So another few reasons that people will overeat is they're doing what I call comfort crunching, and they are dealing with the results of being traumatized. That research, it really blew my mind because you could be dealing with stuff that had happened years before, and that might still be affecting you later. People are also doing what I call divorce devouring or breakup binging. So if you're in an unhappy relationship or your relationship just split up, that could also be leading to a bunch of overeating. Another thing you could be doing is what I call blood sugar roller coaster scarfing. First, the last thing you want to do is to skip breakfast in the morning, unlike what colleagues of mine might say, because who recommend intermittent fasting, is that you want to have some fuel to keep you going in the morning. So those are a few of the 21 reasons that people eat badly. And once you identify those reasons, then you can move forward and make an action plan to address the problem, to address that binging.
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
want to go back to what you said. Uh, I don't I don't really subscribe to the model or to the point of view that, I'm always going to have those problems like they do in addiction
Yeah.
recovery.
Mhm.
Um, but it's an interesting conversation that's going on among sugar addicts or carb addicts.
Yeah, and you might be the exception. I believe there are people who truly put it in remission and they find peace and it lasts decades. Most of us, it's an ebb and flow. Like it sort of seems to come and go and we think we're fine and then there's a little bit of food chatter again and it just seems to be something that we just need to take care of and be mindful of and make sure that we're dedicated every day to making sure that we got it. We're right with food, we're right with our body image, we're right with our thoughts and feelings and beliefs and all those things.
No, you raise a good point, which is that we need to discover what works for us and what point of view toward your, whether it's considered a sugar addiction or carb addiction, how you want to view it. In my instance, I like to think that it was a temporary relapse. Of course, it lasted for a few months.
Only a few months?
Yeah.
Wow, way to get back on track.
Well, it took me like maybe 6 to 8 months to get back on
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
once I moved away from the very painful, what had happened, and then I was getting perspective on what had happened. Because I'm a journalist, then I became fascinated, and then it was that obsession, maybe. Why did this happen to me? How could I have done this? And that led me, boom, back on track. And also, I was driven. I got to set an example again.
Well, yeah, of course, you've got two books, you're a world expert.
Oh
Like,
my god, I couldn't face anybody.
yeah. Oh, it's so
No,
normal.
it was great for the book. I just kind of hid out and worked on my book.
Totally. Connie, we all do it. Like, yeah, we all have those thoughts like, oh man, I'm a coach. What am I doing in the ditch? And yeah, we're all human.
So what I want to tell people is
Yeah.
I believe that relapse is inevitable or likely. It's not that it's around the corner, and it's not that you're weak, and it's not that you have no willpower. It's we are faced with a constant, incessant persistent deluge of temptation. You head out into the world, into a store, into wherever. Now we're entering Halloween season. Oh, that's a good one. I used to pig out on Halloween candies like they were going out of style. And it doesn't matter where you go, a gas station, you're gonna be confronted with temptation. And what I came to realize is that the way to overcome that temptation, or at least peacefully confront it or witness it, is to develop some fast, easy, awesome, simple strategies that will help you to boom, just snap into like who you want to be and who you want to be and who you are when you're confronted. But we really have to face the fact that it's inevitable. So temptation is always going to be there, but there are a whole bunch of really cool tools. So one of my goals in writing I Blew My Diet Now What was to discover, okay, I need to find some fast, easy tools that people can use, boom, on the spot.
Bring them on, Connie. Give us a few.
Okay, so I developed one technique, and I just call it basically the fast tactic to confront or when you're confronted by temptation. And you can use all four of the techniques, or you can just use one. So let's say you're at a party or you're in a store and temptation abounds. No, forget about being in a store. That one won't work. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, but here the first one is fractals. So literally, you can get outside and you can enjoy trees and leaves and any kind of nature's wonders. And there's research that shows that it reduces your stress tremendously. It sounds simple, and there's a reason that it sounds simple, because my goal was to make sure that every single tactic I presented in my new book is that they were simple, but that they also were that they'd been researched and proven to work. Another one is to applaud yourself. That may sound kind of weird, but you want to applaud yourself for recognizing that, oops, I think I'm being tempted by these, sugary things at this party or wherever. And literally, that deserves a lot of applause. You're recognizing it. And the next thing is to what I call shower yourself with compassion. So F is for fractals, A is for applaud yourself. The S is for shower yourself with compassion. That is a really, really important thing to do. There's tons of research that shows if you are compassionate to yourself, it's far easier to get over whatever it is you're going through. And then the final part of fast is to take a can control attitude. And that, again, I found some fascinating research that just shows if you approach a situation, in this case, obviously kicking sugar or processed carbs, that you are in control, you can take charge more easily. That's one technique that I kind of strung a bunch together.
Yeah, there's so many in this book. It's the piece that really stood out for me. Every single section, there's like technique, tool, strategy, tip, try the, there was I think you probably spent 7 years writing this book because you're like, if there's a technique or tool out there that exists, you would have found it and put it in this book because, it was so comprehensive.
And I also didn't mention a bunch because it was like, oh, this takes too long. This is too difficult. It's got to be something you can do right away.
The fast, you prioritize the fast, simple, on the spot. Let's just get this. Let's get back into the right state.
I would like to talk to something that maybe takes a tad bit longer, but I think it's a really, really important thing to do, and that's to meditate. And meditate may sound kind of woo-woo, or it may sound difficult, but literally it's as simple as just following your breath. Now, I listen to these tapping meditations from John Kabat-Zinn. I've been doing it for years. It's just you follow your breath, and I'm telling you, on days I meditate, I'm way more together. On days I don't meditate, I'm kind of like scattered. I meditated today, obviously, to get ready for you.
Right.
Meditated the double.
Right. Totally.
There's another tactic, and you had mentioned that I should discuss it, but in previous interviews, it's a little difficult to talk about in like, a minute, but I will address it real quickly. And that's the emotional freedom technique.
Yeah, take
And
your time.
it's called EFT or tapping.
Yeah.
The thing about tapping is it's been heavily researched. Like hundreds of studies have proven that it can lower cortisol, it can increase your self-esteem, it can boost your confidence, it can do all these things. And as again, I did like a 5-minute tapping meditation before meeting with you. And it's an amazing technique that
Right.
you.
Yeah, and you could take a moment. It's just hitting meridian points while stating.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, take a
Okay, so
moment.
all right, so let's say what do we want to say? Like that your audience is feeling sugar cravings right now, or what?
Sure.
What do we want to do? Okay.
Someone's got a craving. They're at a party and they're like, "Oh, that looks so good. That popcorn, I want the popcorn."
Okay, so what are we gonna have them go outside? um, I'm really big on recommending other experts. And I will do this technique real quick, but I'm a big fan of the people of the tapping solution. It's either tappingsolution.com or thetappingsolution.com. And they have tons and tons of meditations, and they have an app. And but let's just pretend. Okay, so you're tempted at a party. So even though these chips and this popcorn are calling out to me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then you do it 2 more times. Even though these chips are really tempting me, oh my goodness, I really want to have them, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And what you're hitting is this point right here. It's called the what's it
Karate
called?
chop. Karate chop.
Karate chop. Sorry. Even though I'm really tempted to eat these sweets and I don't really want to talk to these people at this party, I rather pig out on candies or chips. I totally love and accept myself. And then what you do is you go through the various tapping points. So you go with like, oh no, excuse me, you start with this one, oh my goodness, these chips are calling out to me. Oh, they're really calling out to me. Oh, I want to have the popcorn right now. I really want to have it. Oh my God, I really want it. Oh, it's just really calling out to me. And then you could hit under the arm, and then you hit top of the head. But then you repeat that scenario, and then you end with something proactive and positive. That's just a little peek at it. It looks really silly. It
Show us the proactive positive.
triggers acupuncture points
Yeah.
or acupressure points. It's just really powerful.
It's really powerful.
And
Show them
again, as a
show them the
journalist, I
positive
have to say,
part. Finish it.
what?
So you showed us the negative round where you're acknowledging that you're in a moment of temptation. Show us what it sounds like and looks like when you bring in the positive.
Okay, so then you would repeat what I just said, or something similar to that, for another 1 or 2 rounds, and then you would end with, oh, you know, even though this candy and these chips are really calling out to me, I am far stronger than that. I am really excited that I'm now eating cleanly for my body. I'm eating just the foods that my body needs. My body wants only these wonderfully nourishing foods that are healthy and organic and wholesome. I am just loving the fact that I am feeding my body with fuel that makes it thrive and get energized. I am so excited and proud of myself that I am rising above this temptation. And you know what? I'm really excited about hanging out with these people at the party. They're like far more interesting than these chips and popcorn and cookies. I am just really feeling so confident and proud of myself that I said yes to speaking with people and no to all that junk food. And I am so proud of myself, and so it is. I don't know,
You
something like
got
that.
it. You beautiful. Thank you. I just wanted to give people a good sense of the wholeness of how EFT works.
But yeah, one of these days I've been meaning to do a tapping meditation. I do have a short tapping meditation with the script in this last book. So yeah,
Mhm.
but it's a very, very powerful tactic, and literally it can work in 5 minutes, and it's amazing, and it's and it's so heavily researched.
Yeah. Yeah. Good data behind it. Tell us about your signature hug, hum, rock move. Tell us about that one.
Can we end with that one? I always like to.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's save it. We're
Yeah.
gonna get.
Sure.
Uh,
Totally.
would it be okay if I talk about how to flip on your success mindset?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So here's when I was working on I blew my diet now what? I was thinking, well, I think that and as I'm doing all this research, I realized that I think that the problem with a lot, which a lot of people have, is they say, oh my God, I eat badly, or oh, I pigged out, and oh, I gained weight, or whatever their issue is. And they're focusing on what they did wrong, not who they want to be around food. And so I realized that before you can even begin to address your habit, you have to what I call flip on your success mindset. And again, these are all research tools. So the first thing you want to do is you want to begin with desire. So who do you want to be? Do you want to be this happy, healthy, energetic person who eats wholesome foods? Do you want to be able to have the energy to hang out with your kids and go on bike rides or long hikes? Do you want to get intimate with your sweetie? I'm into PG-13. So you want to tap into your desire. Then what you want to do is you want to decide. You are deciding no matter what. You are taking control of your sugar or carb habit. Excuse me. That's it. You're deciding. And once you make that decision, it kind of sets the wheels of motion going so that you will achieve it. The next thing you want, so first step is desire, tap into your desire. Second step is to decide. The third step is to expect. So you accept. So you had a relapse. Okay, that's okay. Forgive yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. But you know what? You're now expecting that you're going to rise above what happened. You expect that now your relationship with sugar and with processed carbs is a really, really healthy, wholesome one. So I'll give you an example. If I pass junk foods these days, I don't know, it's like it doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't tempt me. It doesn't, when if I pass by those candies or whatever, because I expect that I'm going to be strong enough to overcome any temptation. And then the next step, and this is a heavily, heavily researched step, is to visualize. You visualize that those junk foods, they have absolutely no control over you. You are in charge, and you visualize yourself being in charge. Now, one of the things that happens, I discovered the most fascinating research, and it was a study. And what they had the subjects do is they did what's called motivational interviewing, and they included something that was similar to visualization. and they broke the participants into two groups. So one was the group that it was similar to visualizing, and the next group did not do it. I don't know if I have all the facts correct. I wrote about it. Anyhow, long story short, the visualizers, hands down, succeeded spectacularly, like way better than the other group. It was something like they lost 14 pounds and the other group lost like a pound. I don't know if those are the exact figures. And essentially, they were doing visualizing. Now, what they also did, they didn't just do visualizing, they also planned for any kind of challenges that could arise. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. If I know I'm going to go to a party, well, I'll give you actually it's something that happened last week. I was about to go to a function, which with a bunch of women, and of course they're going to serve junk food. So what I did ahead of time was I planned in advance and I ate in advance, and so that when I got to that event, I was not tempted by the junk food. My blood sugar was stable. I was filled. I was content, and I was more interested in the people that I would meet. So visualization is a really, really big one. And then the last one is to affirm. You're doing affirmations. I love eating wholesome. I love eating wholesome foods that are great for my body and just as much as my body needs, or some version of that. So basically, the steps the steps to flip on your success mindset. I call them diva. Now, you may think when you hear diva, I'm talking about like the opera diva or whatever. I'm not. It's DDEVA. So it's desire. You tap into the desire, decide, expect, visualize, affirm. So that's my diva technique to flip on your success mindset.
Brilliant. So brilliant. So good. Yeah.
It's fun. It's real fun.
What else would you like to share?
Oh boy. um, well, actually, I want to back up for a minute because I talked earlier about, applauding yourself. And like there was one study I came across, and it was talking about how if you applaud and encourage yourself in the third person, that helps you. So it was like it was your self-talk. And think about it. How do you talk to yourself? A lot of people, after, I know I used to, and I imagine a lot of your viewers here might, you if you've eaten a bunch of sugar or sugary foods or carbs, processed carbs, you may say, oh my God, I did that. And you go down the rabbit hole. I'm not even going to repeat the language you would use to beat up on yourself. I know that language very, very well. But what if instead you spoke kindly to yourself in the third person? So you'll be like, oh, Connie, well, I don't know, put your name. Oh, Connie, you just been through a really rough time with your mother. Of course you eat badly or whatever. You're just speaking kindly to yourself. The research on that is really, really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole with discovering some amazing tactics that you could use. But I do want to back up to the reasons, because I think that the starting point, because you said I was supposed to talk about, you've had a relapse, what do you do? And I really think that the very first thing you need to do is to discover why. And, which of those 21 reasons led you to pig out again? Whereas maybe you've been eating cleanly, maybe you haven't been, maybe it's been hard to get on track. And in that instance, I do recommend that, if necessary, it would be useful to get help with the help of a mental health professional, which actually was what I did after my mother died. I attended a grief support group, and then I found a therapist, and I found somebody else who specialized in PTSD, because it turns out I was suffering from PTSD and all of that combined then with these tactics. But once you know why, then you can move on to figuring out, okay, how do I get over this? What can I do next?
Mhm. Right. You can match the techniques you're offering to the right reason.
Yeah, that's true. And the other part of it, I really sought to show you, okay, these are all the techniques. Now look, I don't expect you to use them all. Just choose the ones that work for you. So for me, meditation is a big one. I always do it. The research shows that when you meditate, you perform better. You're at a you're at a better mood. I showed you tapping, so that's a big one. But you can just do it in 5 minutes. So say you're nervous about going into a meeting or going to a party where all the junk food's going to abound, or you're at work and your boss is making you nervous, and then somebody comes in and brings cake for all the employees. You can hide in the bathroom and go tap. So that's another big one. Um, uh, and then you also, I didn't really talk about this in my book, but you can find a hobby that fills you in a way that food never does. So I am like a huge audiobook fan. Just love, love, love it. I'm actually in the middle of a challenge to myself. Oh my God, I'm going public with this. Okay, I am on day 21, I believe, of no Netflix.
Awesome.
Shall we say that after I finish my book, I'm like, okay, well, I deserve, I deserve to watch TV. Now, I never did pig out in front of watching Netflix, but seriously, that was not a habit. I think the extent to which I was watching these shows that that I would encourage anyone to do. And so basically, I'm recommending that to get over your sugar or carb addiction, you find some habit or whatever that just really fills you up in a way that food or junk food never can do.
Beautiful. Tell us a bit about the what the hell effect and what we can do instead.
Ah. Okay, so that's not the actual technical term, but there is some research that shows that if someone eats, for instance, like a bite of whatever, chocolate chips or whatever, just plug in your favorite junk food, sugary, salty junk food, and you have one bite. So you've been doing great. And then you're like, well, I'll just have one bite. And what that can lead to is a reaction that I call the what the hell effect. It's like, oh, what the hell? I had one bite. I might as well eat a few more. I might as well eat a few more. And there's actually some really interesting research that shows that this happened with these subjects. And what I'm saying that we do instead is that because you're kind of throwing caution to the wind when you just give in to this what the hell effect. And I'm suggesting that instead you take a can control attitude, that you can control the outcome. I've coached a lot of people in the past, who are dealing with a sugar addiction or a carb addiction. And I think when I first start working with them, a lot of them have said, oh, I just can't stop myself. I can't control myself. And I'm suggesting, no, that's really not true. I mean, it's understandable that you have that point of view, but literally some of these like little tweaks can work wonders.
Right, right. To break out of the helplessness and hopelessness, to remind yourself that we can always make another better choice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, totally. What else would you like? Is there anything else you would like to share?
Uh,
What about your cortisol calming quickie?
well, let me answer your first question first. So I recently did a TEDx talk, and it was like I had to condense, I don't know, 20 years of experience into like 7 minutes. And what I would like people to understand is that When you eat better, you feel better. Sounds simple, but it's true. When you choose healthier foods, you're going to be healthier. When you focus on healthier thoughts, you're going to be healthier. But it's, people talk about like food equal medicine, food is medicine. But I contend it's much more than that. It's not just medicine, it's like rocket fuel to become your best self. If you're eating junky food, too much sugar or processed carbs, it's going to affect your moods and your relationships and the way you perform at work. And I mean, look, just about everything. But it can go the other way around. You eat better and your life is better. And darn, that sounds so simple.
Mhm. And
But
it's
it's,
so profound, so powerful and so profound. Yeah.
yeah. And I really, I really invite your viewers to try it out. To just, I think one of the things that helped me when I was kicking sugar the first time years ago was that I did keep records, like me, and maybe not even, I didn't even necessarily write them down, but I kept records, in here, like what is the result of eating this junk food, and not just an hour later. So like you eat those candies, okay, how do you feel an hour later, 2 hours later, the next day, the day after that? I mean, what I found back in the day, back in my sugar heyday, and also in my carb eating heyday, was that I could feel crappy up until like two days later. I would go through what I call the 3-day crud. And is that the way we want to live our lives? I mean, yeah, admittedly, sugar can be tempting. I'm not tempted anymore, but but sugar and processed carbs, they definitely can be tempting. But then you have to decide, well, how do you want, what do you want your life to be? Do you want to feel like you're a slave to your sugar or carb habit, or do you want to feel like you have control and that you're enjoying your life so that you can live to your fullest? I know it sounds a little hokey,
It is. It's
but
a
I feel really strongly about that.
yeah, it's a fork in the road. Like we always have these decisions that can totally send us in different directions. And this is one of the most profound choice points in a human's life is how are we going to fuel this body? Because they have profoundly different consequences in every area of our life. And I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, if we treat our bodies better, we're going to have a better life. Hands down. No doubt about it. I want to talk about one thing. I read this in your bio. And people who recommend intuitive eating. And I think it's a very, very fascinating concept. But people who recommend intuitive eating suggest that you can eat any food. And I would like to differ that yes, you want to, it'd be great. What food do my body want right now? But to say, oh, I'm going to eat all those candies and cookies and even just a little bit, and then I'm going to have a little more the next day, I believe that that can set you up. I really do.
I think intuitive eating works for the people whom it works for, and for some of us, it just doesn't. And it can be a nightmare trying to trying to make it work for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
So you wanted to know my hum broccoli
Let's
process.
let's wrap up there. Teach us.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Okay. So I need to back up for a minute. So as I mentioned, after my mom passed away, I spent lots and lots of time in movie theaters picking out on these buckets of popcorn. And after a few months of that, and the 21 pound weight gain, and the fact that I'm supposed to be a sugar and carb expert, I'm supposed to set an example, I got really angry at myself. And so one day I said, okay, I'm going to let myself go escape into the movie. I need the escape. but I am not going to pick out a movie popcorn. I don't care. It's just not going to do it this time. So I turned off my car and sat in my car, and I had a CD player, and I turned on the CD and I listened to this soothing song. I said, oh, that's kind of cool. And so this is all very intuitive, but then later on backed up by research. And I put my arms around myself and I like started hugging myself. I know this sounds so silly. And I started rocking. And then maybe I got a little fresh with myself. You can't see that. And then, I might have stroked myself. And I went through one song and did that. And then I was like, well, I don't feel quite ready to go into the movie theater. And I did it for a second song. And so basically and I also was humming along to the music. So I was humming, I was hugging, excuse me, I was hugging, and then I was humming, and I was rocking. And so it worked. After months of going into the movie theater, see popcorn, eat popcorn, I was like Pavlov's dog, just see it, pig out on it. It was embarrassing. And also I was so disappointed in myself. I did not have any movie popcorn, and I have not had any movie popcorn ever since. And then I went back to the drawing board. It's like, okay, why did this work? Oh my God, this is fascinating. So essentially what happened is it combined a bunch of tactics that by themselves had been proven to work to either, lower cortisol or boost dopamine, or any number of benefits. And I had combined like four different tactics, and that's why it worked so well. And yeah, it's one of my favorite techniques. I guess it's my signature technique. So it's called the hug, hum, rock relief process.
Yeah.
It's really fun to do. You can do it alone. You can even do it with your family. They don't even have to know why you're doing it. You can do it when you know you're going to go into a party or you're going to go into a grocery store and you're going to be tempted. And literally, just turn on Spotify or YouTube or your CD or whatever your favorite listening device is, and you could take 3 minutes, 6 minutes, and it doesn't even matter. You don't have to do it perfectly. It's just, you can, of course, I invite you to read about it in my new book, I Blew My Diet Now What? But it's amazing. It was amazing. I was like, how did this work? And it did. So I think that that's what makes me kind of different from a scientist in that, hey, I was a sugar sufferer. I was a sugar and carb addict. And now as a journalist, I have to find out, well, what are the fast, easy ways that we can take back our power? So that's my hug, hum, rock relief process.
So beautiful, Connie. So beautiful. It's literally the future of what we're doing in food addiction recovery and disordered eating spaces and trauma recovery. That somatic piece, the tactile, the
Yeah.
movement, the music, the humming supports the vagal tone, the vagus nerve. Like
Yep.
it's all of it, all in one amazing
Yeah.
little moment. So yeah, beautiful. Thank you for
When
sharing
I
that.
was when I was working on my most recent book, I wanted to convey some fun, and I actually found a cartoonist, and so my book has like this really fun cartoon of like a woman kind of going like that.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's subtle, but it's profoundly helpful. Absolutely. Beautiful. Well, is there any final words you'd like to share with us today, Connie, before we wrap up?
yeah. Um, Again, you're gonna be tempted, but you can stand strong. I didn't mention this before, but we live in what I call a junk foods jungle. But you do not have to cave in. You can make better food choices, and then you can feel better and be better and live better.
So true. Love it. Thank you so much. So if you haven't got her book yet, It's on Audible, right? It's on Audible and
No, it's not yet.
not yet. It's coming. Okay, great.
Yeah, the audiobook is on my list. We have the hardcover and we have the ebook.
Okay, got it. Got it. Wonderful. So you can get that on Amazon, right?
Yes, absolutely. You can get it wherever books are sold. And right now I'm like, please review it.
Yeah, order it, review. It's good. Like I know you're going to get, if people just read it, they'll get great
Did you
reviews.
receive it?
I read it. You gave it to me. I did a testimonial for your book.
No, but I mailed the actual physical book. It didn't arrive yet.
Oh, oh
Oh,
my
you're
gosh.
because you're in Canada. I sent it ages ago. Talk about the U.S. mail.
Oh, okay. Well, I did move, so we'll
Your
make
copy
sure.
arrives.
No,
Will
I just recently moved. I hope I had the right address for you. That's okay. We'll work that out. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. There's her book.
Thank you
Treasure,
so much
it's
for
like
having
a
me.
treasure chest of gems and jewels and research and science, and I know you're gonna love it. I hope you I was gonna say I hope you enjoyed this interview and have a good day,
I
everybody.
just want to say, I think that what you're doing is just like such a labor of love, so needed, so important. And I know it's just a ton of work. I like applaud you for all that you're doing. And I know that you can help the lives of all these people who are attending the summit.
Thank you so much, Connie. See you soon in the next interview, everybody.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thanks for tuning in this week. If you would like more interviews, more information, and more inspiration on how to break up with sugar, go to my YouTube channel, Kick Sugar Coach, or my website, kicksugarcoach.com. See you next week.